Hey guys, it is Mike with Become the Night. Welcome back to my channel. This is my second time recording this video. I'm a little disappointed because the first time I thought I got a freaking funny reaction performance, whatever you want to call it. Anytime I make videos like these, I typically have like a handful of talking points that I want to hit, and then I kind of verbally diarrhea. But after finishing recording and then going back and checking my external audio here on my microphone, there was absolutely nothing there. So I have to do it again, and hopefully it'll be just as entertaining, if not more entertaining. So if something seems slightly off, that's why. Now, if you're reading the title of the video, you may have an assumption of what I'm gonna say in this video. I think you should grant me some good faith, hear out what I have to say. It's not as bigoted as you expect it to be. Now look, I'm not racist, but if you do click subscribe and then click the notification bell and make sure it says all notifications, it really does mean the world to me. Spotify, top on the rock charts. Let's get into it. All right, first off, we have Hayloft 2 by Mother Mother. Let's take a listen. Just immediately, first 3 seconds, this does not sound like rock and roll to me. You have something that's reminiscent of a bass guitar with a fuzz on it, though it feels very synthesized. And you have something that feels like a motorcycle rivving, like a... If you have a floating bridge on a guitar, it's already depressed, and then you kind of pull it up a little bit, then push it back down, gives you that motorcycle revving sound. It's cool, and it's mimicking things that were kind of invented, if you will, in rock and roll, but it's not rock and roll timbres. It's things mimicking rock and roll timbres. Hold on. Let's keep listening. I have a thought process that I think will hopefully make everyone happy, or it'll make everyone pissed off, but fucking who cares? So the phrasing isn't supremely rock, but it's actually kind of cool. It has that little na 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 going between the 5 and the sharp 4, having this kind of Eastern European creepy haunty sound. Because I've done enough experimentation with different weird off the wall guitar tones, I can tell one of the na 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 na, that one of those timbres is indeed a guitar going through fuzz and probably a few other effects. Now listen to the percussion. Again, much like the bass guitar, it sounds like something fake that's trying to imitate a rock drum kit. It doesn't actually sound like a real drum kit. The sampling and sound design has gone so far that it starts to lose the characteristics of the acoustics of what the instrument is. When you say the word rock, this is never the first thing you would ever think of as the sound. Even an electric guitar is electric, but I mean, there's no circuitry on any of it. It's literally a string vibrating over a magnet, the same way that in a microphone, it's a coil vibrating in a magnet. You still have a physical object vibrating through the air that is making these waves that sends an electrical signal into the front of a real fucking amp that goes brah. All right, let's keep listening because it's gonna further my point.
Whatever happened to the young lovers? One got shot and the other got lost in drugs and punks and blood on the street.
Okay, I don't love the vocal delivery, but I think it's a really good performance, and I think it fits the mood extremely well. But if you think about the way he's delivering it, how he's finishing each of these words, the rhythm in which they're being delivered, that in combination with all the other timbres, this feels strongly more hip-hop. This is not inherently a bad thing. It's simply an observation. The current trend of a lot of rock bands in the last 10 years is to find this kind of uncanny valley in between modern hip hop and pop and then rock. And they distort the rock side of it so much that people who grew up loving the classics completely reject it. I think part of that rejection comes from the fact that people try to label it rock, and it is like so clearly not rock. But there's also an element of it that is extremely strongly grounded in rock, but I would say equally as strongly grounded in hip hop, that it gets into a really weird gray area. Gray areas are some of the best areas because that's where fusion happens. It can be a great thing. So on one hand, we want to maintain the integrity of what the title means. I think that's a good thing. But then on the other side, we don't want to have a genre become extinct because you're trying to define any change out of existence. And just like, well, we just can't accept this. Okay, I don't think that's the right way to go either. So we come to a middle compromise with a new subgenre. At least that's my thoughts. I would say, why don't we call this neo rock? Bands like Muse, I think, could fit into this, although I'd say Muse isn't quite as heavy on the hip hop side as this Mother Mother song. Or Imagine Dragons is a perfect fucking candidate for this. Neo rock that is heavily, heavily influenced by 2010s hip hop. There's still attitude in here. It's just not as organic and, I guess for lack of a better term, real as what you get from old school rock. I don't think that means it has less value, but it's definitely distinct. And I think if we're going to properly conceptualize what the fuck it is, we need to give it a name. I say neo rock. I just think the way that we had to reclassify metal as a subgenre of rock, I think we should also have this neo rock, hip hop influenced shit as its own subgenre of rock. Anyway, let's keep listening.
Blood on her knees, bloody history. Yo, whatever happened to the hay? Burnt to the ground. And what about?
The hooks are good, man. I will say it's a simple arrangement, simple composition, and they've stripped the instruments way back so that you can get all of the detail of the vocal performance. As far as trying to make something that has some attitude, but also has some catch, I think they succeeded very well.
Singing that old song. My baby's got a gun, my baby's got a gun, my baby's got a gun. I'm back to run. My baby's got a gun. It goes boom, boom, crack, boom, boom.
I hate it. I hate that chorus. Song with gunshots in the chorus. What is it? That chorus is a really shitty ripoff of Mia, Paper Planes.
I fly like paper, get high like planes.
Like, it's obviously not the same thing, but it has that same whiny, shut the fuck up, bitch delivery. Like, oh my God, it's the worst, most annoying fucking end in a droning whine. Similar type of fucking rhythm. Like, I hate it. I fucking hate it. That very obviously is a very strong influence from hip hop and 2010s pop. It's not fucking rocket science. It's not hidden there secretly. It's very clear that this is not rock and roll. That's a hip hop influence.
That's not a bad thing, just a true thing.
Anyway, those are my thoughts on that one. I don't love it, but I would say, I mean, it actually has a little bit of real inspiration. It seems like it has some authenticity. All right, next up, Black Summer by Red Hot Chili Peppers. All right, got a rotary effect on the clean guitar here.
A lazy rain am I, the skies refuse to cry. Cremation takes its piece of your supply.
Yeah, I don't know. Why? In what fucking world did they think that that vocal delivery was the right way to go? So far, I mean, it's fine voice leading from the guitar and from the bass. I wouldn't say there's something that has a strong character to it yet as like a proper melody hook, but I mean, you know, whatever. Seems like it's just there to kind of take up space and not really have a personality yet.
The night is dressed like noon. A sailor spoke too soon.
Why is he singing like the worst satire of Celtic folk? Like every horrible sound out of Celtic folk vocals just got shoved straight into like the back of his fucking mouth. A sailor, like, fucking, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
And China's
Ew, ew.
and China's on the dark side of the moon.
Fucking why? And China is on the dark side of the moon. It's like intentionally shoving an OL at the end of every fucking word. And child, if I had to say OL while I was trying to say the word China at the same time, China is on the dark side. Dark. You sound fucking stupid. Red Hot Chili Peppers, I would call them the Strokes because the singer sings like he's having a stroke. I'll see myself out.
Platypus are infused.
Who's sound fuse out again with the OL? I'm telling you every time. Just shove a fucking OL in the middle of him saying an R, and that's all this fucking stupid sound is.
It's been a long time since I made a new friend. Waiting on another black summer to end.
Yeah, this whole thing just feels uninspired, man. I get John Frusci has rejoined the band. Congratulations to anyone who actually gives a fuck about something so stupid. It's incredibly clear just by listening to this that the chemistry is gone. It seems like they're doing it out of obligation and not because they actually give a fuck. At least this song sounds that way. Performances don't feel very inspired. The phrasing doesn't have the same personality to it in each one of these instruments. I mean, the singer is trying to do something different. I'll at least give him credit for trying to do something different. The chorus just sounds like if the Foo Fighters were really fucking bad at writing choruses. It feels incredibly fucking generic. Either way, next up, The Funeral by Youngblood. Okay, right off the bat, it's like Billy Idol and Tears for Fears had a baby. That 80s synthesizer inspired rock, yacht rock type of stuff. Okay, just listening to the attack on that bass, the dun 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 dun, that feels more like a real bass. Obviously, it's fuzzed out. Obviously, there's some type of modulator on there that makes it feel a little bit more synthesized, but that feels like a real bass guitar was played.
I can't leave my bed, but I can't sleep. I got no clean clothes and I can't eat. And I smoke too much till I...
The vocal part, rhythmically, and how it's like kind of down here and smoky and like a little whispery, kind of reminds me of Tom Petty a little bit. So, okay, you have that version of the 80s in there as well.
To my surprise, there's no one to blame. Nobody.
That vocal delivery kind of reminds me of, and I don't want the world to see me, but it's less whiny and strained.
'Cause I know that you feel me somehow.
I actually like Youngblood's vocal delivery better than that one, even though I really love that song.
I've been dancing at my funeral, waiting for you to arrive.
This actually reminds me of Bruno Mars in the same way that it's very clearly strongly ripping off a specific sound, a specific time and genre, but done in a way that makes it feel like it could be made and released in that time, somewhat modernized, but also fresh. Like, this is very clearly a blatant ripoff of a sound, but I think it's actually executed pretty well, unless it's blatantly ripping off a song that I'm not familiar with. So, I mean, I'll grant myself a little ignorance there. But as far as a revival of a sound, I think this is very faithful. I think people that love this yacht rock, synthesizer heavy 80s rock, I think they would enjoy this. At least that's my opinion. Like, yeah, I give it a thumbs up, even though I won't listen to it. Next up, maybe Machine Gun Kelly featuring Bring Me the Horizon. I'm sure this will be just fucking delicious.
That's hard.
It's really not that hard. Yes, for someone who is a casual guitar player, that could probably be more difficult. But for someone who is actually like a guitar player, it's not that difficult. If he's saying that's hard, like, oh, that cuts deep, or like, that's profound, absolutely fucking not. This is mixed by someone who doesn't know how to mix rock and roll. The kick is way too hefty. The timbre design, like the compression and EQ on the fucking kick and snare feels much more like it feels like they just put a drum machine in there. Every velocity is extremely overly consistent. It sounds like shitty samples dropped on one another. They're trying to make it big, but it just sounds like being slapped in the face repeatedly with a hammer. The bass doesn't have that oomph to really marry the guitars to the kick, so it feels like a kick drum and then a standard ass guitar tone with like gaps in between, a massive gap.
Maybe if I had something to
Yeah, the
say.
bass is really lacking.
Butterfly effect from the last 3 days now. Maybe if I had something to save.
Oh God. Oh my God, this vocal is fucking awful. Again, trying to fuse his really, really shitty hip hop career vocally with what's going on with this shit interpretation of a pop punk song, like pop punk emo shit, something in between there. This dude is getting the maximum benefit out of vocal tuning and comping the fuck out of every single take. it does not feel like a real person performed this at all. And even with it feeling very unnatural, it still sounds like total fucking shit. It's impressive how much work went into making something sound so fake and crap.
The 10. I made up my mind this evening.
Ew.
I'm taking the
Ew, I fucking hate, cannot stand when people pronounce the word mind, moined. They make their eyes oys. Fucking why? Why do you do that? You sound fucking stupid. It's like, gee, what could I do to verbally undermine the puberty that I went through and transforming into a man? Oh, I know. I'll sacrifice any amount of taking ownership of being an adult and infantilize myself by pronouncing things like this fucking perpetually pubescent bullshit.
last. I'm taking the last. I'm ready to let you go.
It's just fucking Misery Business by Paramore.
I'm taking the last.
God, does it feel so good? God, does it feel so good? They even have the stop there. So this is obviously an extremely derivative, totally hacky piece of shit. Who would have known that Machine Gun Kelly is a fake artist? Next song is How Could You Do This to Me featuring Kelly Quinn from Sleeping with Sirens. That's legitimately the fucking title. By Maggie Lindemann. Possibly related to another Lindemann we know, or completely unrelated. Who knows? Who cares? That's the better question. Another Misery Business ripoff! Unironically, what the fuck? Are you serious? Listen to this fucking shit. It is a similar riff and it is a similar phrasing. Like, so obviously a total fucking ripoff. Again, feels like it was mixed by someone who doesn't know how to mix rock very well. It's way too hefty and heavy and unnatural on the drum shells, man. And the bass really isn't there.
Tell me, do you think of me in your dreams when you're not next to me?
I've heard that phrase way too many fucking times in pop. Again, they're trying to inject more 2010s pop and make rock and roll more relevant. I understand the thought process behind it. It's supposed to be modernizing it. But I mean, I would appreciate the modernization doesn't mean doing what every other hack fucking terrible artist is already doing. I would like to think modernization is like, you know, trying something different. That'd be fucking incredible. And even just the vocal delivery, it just reminds me of Miley Cyrus. It's just very clearly injecting for no reason cookie cutter pop vocal part and vocal performance into a cookie cutter, could have purchased it on a royalty-free song download site version of pop punk.
Always gotta cross the line. I'm just gonna
Another one of those line. Cross the line. She goes, the line. The line. She's getting real fucking close. Right on the edge of making me pissed off.
take you and waste your time.
Ew. Okay, time. She did it. Fuck you. Pronounce your fucking words correctly.
It's so easy to read. You will be there when I'm
Now she's got her fucking Amy, what's her face from Evanescence vibe going on here.
never be the
With the vocal part rising up, with it dropping down to a piano-esque type of sound in the background, with the dense reverb that where she's still kind of sitting on top of it though.
You know you take control, so I'll be leaving you out here to believe. Drag it down with me.
There it is, that exact same vocal hook that we've heard 100,000 times in the 2010s, and was also the same vocal hook from earlier in the verse. The na 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 na. I never fucking need to hear that again. If we need more proof that our generation fucking sucks at making original ideas, I'd say that, along with many other shit fucking melodic phrases, fucking infantile melodic phrases. They're so dumb and repeated over and over again. Just garbage fucking brainwashing. All right, so at least I would say Machine Gun Kelly's and Maggie Lindemann's, even though I don't think the mixes are very good, those feel more like what you would consider rock and roll. Same with The Funeral by Youngblood. I was surprised very much so that a name like Youngblood is going to be making something that actually sounds almost the most like rock and roll on this list. Black Summer by Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah, it's a rock song, undeniably so. The only one that's really questionable for me is this neo-rock thing that we got from Mother Mother. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be on the rock charts. I'm just saying we need to fucking be honest that this is not rock and roll the way that we understand rock and roll for most of human existence. And I think we should give it an appropriate name to acknowledge that fact so everyone can conceptualize. This is a more evolved, later time period form of rock. All right, those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Supporting me on Subscribestar is the best way to help me keep making videos for you. That link is in the description. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Become the Night. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next video. Rock on.